Kept you guys waiting on this one, huh? Anyways, welcome to a new playthrough for the LPerLeague. Today we are going to be starting the Metal Gear Solid the Twin Snakes playthrough. What my favorite game of all time.
Specifically this version?
I like both versions. I like both the original and the remake. I do want to make a quick note on this version. I am playing in the 4K resolution using a hack, so the graphics are going to be like very different compared to the GameCube actual graphics. So if you guys notice that, that's why.
Oh, so actual anti-aliasing instead of everyone looking like a jaggy mess. Got it.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a GameCube game. I mean, it automatically looks better than the PS1 version.
Yeah, and that's the only version you can get nowadays for Metal Gear Solid because Konami has always re-released the original release, the PS1 version. This was made by a completely different company. This was Silicon Knights. And they went defunct only a few years after this game came out, like about maybe like 9 or 10 years after. The studio went through so many problems, and unfortunately, this game's source code kind of went with them. So they can't even release Twin Snakes, even if Konami wanted to. They probably have to rebuild it.
That's the sad thing. Yeah, this game definitely is a remake of the first game. There is the original voice actors that came back for this game, but you're gonna notice something different if you play the original PS1 version a lot. The voice acting in this game is a little off. It's like they have no emotions. And it's definitely gonna be seen in later scenes. That's the only gripe I have about this remake, is like they didn't even try on their voice acting almost.
That, and there was a couple of scenes that you could definitely tell that they were kind of trying to do a more action-y approach, kind of like Metal Gear Solid 2 did. And
yeah,
a lot of movements are kind of like added into this remake that like make it, I don't know how to describe, more Matrix level kind of action.
It's not just movements, because it's also a thing where, since Metal Gear Solid 2 was the most recent game in the franchise at that time, they also took some gameplay elements from that and put it into this game, which included the first-person aiming. And from what I heard, that also breaks this remake in half in certain areas.
Yeah. There's a lot I can say about this game, it being my favorite game of all time, and I played this over and over, but I'm going to take it one at a time with each video, so we're not getting confused here.
Yeah. Not to say that this is a bad remake, because this is actually a really good remake, in my opinion. I would say, if this game was relatively available, I would suggest playing this one over the original. But, you know.
And Meltman with the power to melt.
I mean, he could be a member of Foxtown, right?
You know what? All the weird characteristics everyone has in this series, yeah, that could probably actually just blend in and I wouldn't bat an eye.
Yeah. But yeah, the story basically is a terrorist group called Foxtown has taken over an island called Shadow Moses Island, which is in Alaska of all places. So it's very cold. And Solid Snake here is a kind of think of it like a secret agent, but not really being secretive, I guess. And he has to do this mission on his own where he has to go and like stop them. And of course there is a thing of like they want like $1 million and other demands, so he's got to be like really careful what he does, not to get seen by enemies, that kind of stuff. For anybody who's played a Metal Gear Solid game, the biggest thing in this game is sneaking missions. You have to kind of sneak through the game. However, I do not play that way. I go in guns blazing. So
So the opposite.
Yeah. So here is the title screen. There's a couple different things on the screen we can look out here with like the options and such. One of the biggest thing on the options menu I'm going to go through real quick is you can turn on blood or you can turn it off. So if you're squeamish, that is an option.
It's been a long time, Snake.
Oh, I didn't even know you could turn off blood.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something more just for this release too, because the original PS1 version I don't even think had that option. But to be fair, that was such a low-res version that I don't really think you can notice the blood in some areas, so it didn't really matter.
Yeah. There's also an option where you could change the color of the blood. Like, if you don't want it to be red, you could change it to, like, blue or green, just make it look like ink if you want to. So, there is different options for that.
Oh, good, the Nintendo patch solution. Blood was now green. Live with it.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. We Ocarina of Time this game.
Excuse me.
Or like Mortal Kombat as well.
Yeah.
Who's this?
So, just to give everyone a heads up, the first 2 videos is just the briefing mission stuff. It kind of goes over the story, what's going on, what Snake has to do, etc., etc. And we get to meet 2 of the characters we'll be talking with throughout the game, which is the first one being Roy Campbell, which is our colonel. And then we have Naomi Hunter, who is the doctor. She's the one injecting Snake with the shot right now.
About 5 hours
Now,
ago,
can you control the camera's
Alaska's
movement
Fox
in this section?
archipelago called
Not like the camera
Shadow
angles, but
Moses
at least like the X
was
and Y
occupied by
coordinates.
special ops soldiers.
Yeah, look, she's doing it just as you said that. That's kind of funny.
Yeah, because I was noticing you were doing that here and there, because I don't think that was the thing you could do in the original PS1 release. I think it was just a static
No,
image you had to watch.
They'll launch a nuclear weapon.
The PS1 release briefing was different. It just showed Snake. It didn't even show Campbell or Naomi. It just shows Snake, and he kind of looks like one of the other characters in the game, so it kind of gets confused. It's like, is that Snake or the other guy? But in this version, they do give you camera free roam. You can pretty much go everywhere with the camera. There is also different cameras you can switch to. This is just camera A. I kind of show it off a little bit, but this is the main camera because it kind of shows everybody, and I wanted to keep everybody in focus with the story, so...
I love how you're saying that, and half the time just look at the ceiling.
Yeah.
The main character.
I'm just kind of
the
showing.
ceiling light.
And now we have camera B, which is kind of like a floor camera. I imagine they just put it on the floor and be like, ah, that's good enough.
Well, you can make up your mind after you hear more about the situation.
But yeah, there is different briefing things we go through here. It's all on different quote-unquote videotapes. So we kind of got a lot to go through.
Yeah, it basically is just telling the backstory. If you didn't know, is this for the people who didn't play Metal Gear 1 and 2?
It doesn't really mention Metal Gear 1 and 2 as much, except for like a couple small references. It mostly focuses on the main story of this, kind of prepare you what you're going to go in for. Because once you start playing, you're not really going to be focused on the story as much, besides the obvious cutscenes and like boss battles and stuff. So they kind of wanted to put it in a way like, here's the story, go have fun.
Yeah, and at this time too, the Metal Gear games were on platforms a lot of people just didn't really have access to, and the closest maybe you had for that original game could have been the NES port of the first game, which was very different. So Metal Gear Solid is kind of like a soft reboot in a lot of ways. It might reference the old games, but you don't have to play them to understand anything going forward. Because let's be real, who had MSX growing up? Not as many people as a PS1. So they kind of knew that going into this.
You want me to swim?
I sure didn't. I didn't even know what that was until years later, so...
That suit represents the latest advances in polythermal technology.
But yeah, there's just a lot of talk about the game here, like the story and what's going to happen. So we can basically talk about anything here if you guys want to.
As always, this is a one-man sneaking mission.
Is Snake in his boxers?
Yep, he had to...
Yes.
They put him through a physical test.
Oh, okay.
Don't expect any official
You can give him the courtesy of having one of those like hospital robes on.
Nah, man. We can't afford that stuff.
What do you think this is? This is the Navy?
Yeah. So Colonel is I'll kind of just explain who Colonel is here. He's basically an old friend of Snake. They've known each other for like years. And he is basically retired, but he was brought back into this mission, and it'll explain why he was kind of forced to do this mission and why he's having to be the Colonel again. But Snake and him have known each other for years, and they consider themselves like really good friends. So Snake is kind of like angry that he's kind of been brought back into this after Metal Gear 2. So he's not a happy camper right now.
I wouldn't be either.
So yeah, Colonel is Snake's friend, and then Naomi here, she's kind of like the unknown doctor that was brought on for this mission. Not much is known about her at the start, but we do find out more about her later during the game, so I don't want to spoil that. That's kind of a big storyline. So who's in super? And then Snake, go ahead, Lester.
No, I was going to say Naomi right now is just mainly set as a way where she's like this helper for Colonel and Snake, like kind of just there, gonna help provide any kind of resources or intel needed. But you'll learn more about her later on the main game story.
Not yet.
And then obviously we have the main character who we're going to be playing as, which is Solid Snake, and he's already well known at this point as the quote-unquote world's greatest soldier because of what he did in the 2 missions before this one. And he actually went into retirement himself after Metal Gear 2, and he picked up a hobby and moved to Alaska. So he was like kind of living a normal life for a while, and he was happy.
I just wanted to enjoy my retirement in peace, Colonel.
Yeah. So you can imagine how upset he is as well being pulled back into this.
Yeah, he doesn't want to do this, but reluctantly he has to kind of just accept this mission and help.
Yep. So, what is your guys' experience on Metal Gear from what you've seen him play?
The only Metal Gear game I played all the way through was this one.
Yeah, pretty much the same here. I've played through the entirety of the first game with the VR missions as a little after-party thing as a live stream series a couple years back, but that's the most experience I have. Mind you, I'm probably like the 10% of the people in the whole fan base has probably played VR missions to its entirety on the PS1. Which is like a fun little side game, but it also doesn't really add much to the whole series.
Yeah.
Contact her if you have any questions.
Yeah, VR missions was basically just like a filler game, I like to think of it, to kind of prepare for Metal Gear Solid 2, which hadn't been released yet because it was a PS2 game. So
yeah,
they're like, we need something.
Now, the main game has some VR missions that you can play, so I'm wondering, does this GameCube remake also have some VR missions as well, for consistency's sake?
Sadly, no. I wish it did. But no.
Why are you involved in this?
It's the classic, it's a remake where everything is better, except we forgot this one part, making it not the definitive version after all. Treatment.
I think they did that. This is just my opinion. I don't know how true this is, but I think they did that because VR missions was kind of a flop, and they didn't want to go through that again. So they're like, no, we're not putting it back in there. So.
Yeah, I don't.
Fair.
I think they just did that because they didn't want to bother with it. They probably thought that nobody really cared about those modes.
Yeah, it was basically just a side mode you could have played to get a better feel of the different mechanics and the controls, but it didn't add anything, so a lot of people probably just ended up skipping it in like the original run of Metal Gear Solid 1 on PS1, and then probably just figured with the sales numbers of the standalone game, it's like, yeah, no one plays this. Look at these numbers. Let's just not do it again.
Yeah, that's the bad thing.
So we learned that the reason why Roy Campbell got pulled back into this is because his niece got kidnapped.
Yep. And we're actually going to get to learn more about her later on.
What was your niece
But
doing there?
yeah, he was kind of like forced to join because he's being blackmailed by them holding his niece hostage. If I could talk. But yeah, he was kind of like, oh, well,
She looks like you.
darn, I guess I don't have a choice.
She's my little brother's girl.
Yeah, kind of being roped in more for personal reasons, too.
And since
Never
then,
a
I've been
good thing.
watching after her.
No.
A personal motive, Colonel. That's not very soldierly.
I do like that they bring back the original voice cast for this
Just
game,
an
though.
old man now.
For at least the Metal Gear Solid 1 game. Because I don't think anybody else could play these characters, in my opinion. That's just me.
I've thought of us as
I'm biased
friends
on that,
since the fall
so.
of Zanzibar.
And they did the same. They're doing the same thing with the new remake of Metal Gear Solid Delta, I think. Unless they're just
Yeah.
reusing the
Well,
clips.
that's the
I
thing.
think-
Yeah, they're just reusing the sound files they have recorded for the original run of Metal Gear Solid 3. So there's really
Okay.
nothing they have to do besides maybe touch up the audio.
I still want to know
Alright.
like what
But I
changes
have
are
two
going to be in that game
conditions.
now. Because they have to change something for it to be a remake.
No more secrets
Yeah,
between
I
us.
mean,
I want complete
When the
disclosure at all
3DS
times.
version of
And two,
MGS3
I
came
will
out,
reach
they
the
had
orders
some
directly
differences
from
in
you,
gameplay
Colonel.
there.
No
That would
cutoffs
justify being a
involved,
different
okay?
version.
Agreed.
Although a version that ran
That's why
kind of
I
like
was called.
garbage because it was on a
One
3DS.
thing,
But,
What?
you know, you take some, you lose some on that one.
Yeah.
I'm not a colonel anymore.
But yeah,
Just a retired.
I
old
did want to
war
show off the
horse.
briefing because it is important. I know a lot of people, when they let's play this game, they skip the briefing for obvious reasons. Because there's no gameplay here, it's literally just watching videos. But it is important to know the story and the backstory of the characters, so.
And there's like what? How long is it? Like this briefing portion? Like there's like what? Almost 40 minutes of this stuff.
Doctor.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
if you go
This operation
if you
too.
go through it without stopping, there's probably at least 40-45
She
minutes
was
of
in
this.
charge of Foxhound's gene therapy.
This is not even the
She
worst
knows
that the
more
series
about
gets,
those
by the
men
way,
than
when it
anyone
comes to
else.
gameplay, the cutscene ratio. Just wait until you get to the fourth
So,
entry.
She's used to seeing men naked.
Oh god, yeah.
I think people broke down the math, and it is a lot more cutscene to gameplay, but I think
By
it's
the
like by
way,
a substantial
what was that
margin. It might be
injection
like a
for?
70-30
It's a
split.
combination of nanomachines and an anti-freezing peptide so that your blood and other
Well,
bodily
4
fluids don't
I
freeze,
understand because
even
4
at
is the
subarctic
end of the
temperatures.
main series and
Nanomachines.
Metal Gear in
Just
general.
one kind,
So they have a lot of
There are
touch-ups
different
to
types
do
that
at the
can
end.
replenish the supply
But
of
yeah,
vitamin,
these games get pretty long just because of
Now
cutscenes.
I don't have to worry about food.
Yeah, I mean, the only one that really
Also put
doesn't
some
have
nootropics in there.
that much story compared to like all the other games in the
Nootropics.
Metal Gear
A
Solid
class of
series
drugs
would
which will help
probably be
improve your mental
5
functioning.
when you want to say mainline games because of just trouble development
me
there, and it's
smarter,
mainly
huh?
focused on gameplay.
Anything else?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a type of stimulant.
It's funny because the
If you're
one
awake and
time that they
responsive
do
for 12
put more
straight hours.
gameplay in the game story, people complained about it.
And they didn't even get to finish it either because there was more
They didn't even get to
DLC
finish it.
planned, but it
Those
all got
nanomachines
canceled.
will also keep your codex batteries charged up.
Ah, Konami. Those days at Konami were bad.
I'm ready to go on a diet.
Wait, they're good?
You're welcome.
They're better now.